Good evening and welcome to the Walpole Select Board of Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. It being past the time of 7, we will call this meeting to order. If everyone could rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on our agenda, we have, is it Laura? Here from Farmer in the Dell?
Danielle.
Danielle, here from Farmer in the Dell. If you'd like to come up and just... Right here. And so we understand that you're the new owner of Farmer in the Dell, and you come forward for the Vicular license to operate over on East Street.
Yes.
All right. You have anything that you want to add, or any members of the board have questions?
Thank you for being in Walpole and contributing to the downtown.
Yep. I promise not to change anything. I've been there for 9 years, so I ran it when she would be on vacation anyway, so.
Great.
Gotta
I'm
keep
sure-
everything the same, just add some new things.
I was going to say, very popular place in Walpole. I'm sure people will appreciate that. Aoife, is all the paperwork and everything in order?
Yes, everything is all set.
All right. And Ben, do we have a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve the request of the Olive Branch LLC for a common victular license to operate at 935 East Street.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 500. Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll be in to visit soon. No. I'm sorry. No.
Absolutely do not stay.
All right, this evening, we're going to take one item of business out of order. We're going to go to new business and talk about the Economic Development Commission summary by removing a reference. This was, came forward to us from the EDC, kind of clean up an appointment that is no longer being used.
Yes, so it actually started with Brianna showed some interest in joining the EDC. We noticed on the town clerk's database that there was reference in this board summary to a finance committee appointee. However, from talking with Pat DeShanes, there doesn't ever seem to have been a finance committee appointee or anything that we could find or Liz could find in the town clerk's files. So just in order to clean that up and be able to appoint Brianna, the EDC voted in favor of removing this, and they're just looking for the same from the select board tonight.
Does anyone on the select board have any questions or comments on this? All right, Ben, do we have a motion for this?
I'd make a motion to amend the Economic Development Commission summary by removing the reference to a Finance Committee appointee.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 500. And then we're going to move on to interview with Brianna, if you'd like to come on up. Thank you for having me. Thank you. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you would like to join the commission.
Sure. I'm a 7, almost 8-year resident of Walpole. I come from a background in development in Cambridge and Boston, Greater Boston area. I have a lot of experience with zoning and permitting, building, large buildings in the cities, and I have a technical background that I think could be valuable to the EDC here in Walpole and bringing new business here and working with the zoning and planning boards to bring more economic development to my town. I have 3 boys in the school systems here, so again, Walpole is a home here now and will be for the foreseeable future. So I want to continue to make it great and contribute in whatever way I can.
All right, thank you. Does any members of the boards have any questions?
Hi, Brianna, how you doing? I know Brianna from East Walpole. We're neighbors and our kids are in school together, and Brianna's fantastic, and we're lucky to have you volunteer, and I just wanted to say thanks, and looking forward to seeing more of you.
Yeah, very excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
And I can just say thank you. Thank you for stepping up and volunteering. Great. Then do we have a motion?
I'd make a motion to appoint Brianna Pinheiro to the Economic Development Commission.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a
you,
vote,
guys.
500. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to figuring out what the next step is.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So being that we're a little early, I'm going to continue on to new business. We have the spring 2024 town meeting warrant. Jim, you want to do an update on that?
Sure, just briefly. We have about 14, 15 articles currently, and we're looking for the board to close the warrant so we can send it off to council to review and get going on that one. So.
Does anyone have any questions for Jim on the warrant?
I guess one quick one, so that has the, at least a placeholder for the inclusionary zoning.
So I was actually going to address that under my updates, but since we're ahead. So it had, the planning board voted to sponsor the inclusionary zoning bylaw at their last meeting. They seemed, there wasn't much discussion about it. They had all received it back before Christmas, so it's supportive of sponsoring it. And then Patrick's been working with the MBTA communities group that we put together. He has a draft that's ready to go that he's going to likely be presenting at your next meeting. So we're going to have council look that over, but those two zoning articles look like they're moving forward. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at with zoning.
Good, okay, thank you.
And I had noted too that Patrick's coming soon to go over that MBTA, I think the February 6th.
Yeah.
So we'll get an update then. All right, Ben, do we have a motion?
I'd make a motion to close the spring 2024 town meeting warrant.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 5-0-0. I don't think Brendan is here tonight, but we have a request from Recreational Director Brendan Croak to hold the Walpole Day event parade. I think this year it's going to be a great event because the 300th committee is also working towards making this extra special. Do we have anything else to add for Walpole Day? All right.
I'd make a motion to approve the request of the Recreation Director to hold Walpole Day event and parade on Saturday, May 11th, 2024.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 5-0-0. Next item on our agenda that we need to take up is concerning the ARPA funds, the balances for Norfolk County, and do a vote on that. Jim, do you want to do the update on this?
Sure. So there's 3 requests coming through here that I've outlined for you. The first request is to vote to approve the unused ARPA funds that are currently from the county. That totals $263,541.53. Those projects include the Winter Street Extension Project, which has just about $5,000 in it. The WHS collection system, which was completed, has about $61,400 in it. Willis membrane replacement, which has was original appropriation was $1,125,000. That has $167,000 left in it, and the bridge rehab for the design for Easton Elm that has $30,000 in it. So total is $263,541.53. So we're looking for the board to return the unused ARPA funds. We're not going to lose this fund. The next vote I'm asking for is for the funds to be designated as you to direct Jody and I to designate the funds specifically for the high school project. This whole process is going to allow us to close out the funds that's being held by the county. We'll get down to zero. Jody and I were on a Zoom call with the county earlier this week. They're looking to do all this now. They want all the towns to have their requests identified by June. I think it's the end of June. Because the requirement is to have all your funds identified by the end of 2024. They're looking to stay ahead of it to possibly give some towns some additional money, because there are one town I can think of that has spent $0 of their dollars. And looking at possibly reappropriating those funds back to Walpole, Westwood, whoever has kind of stayed on top of this. So it's just more of a bookkeeping detail for Jody and I to get working on. So that's the first request, and I'll get to the second one after this one.
Does anyone on the board have any questions on this first request to bring back the, return the unused funds?
No, so,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you were first.
You raised your hand.
I raised my hand. Just real quick on the Washington Street culvert, and I know that's part of the second request, but so just to be clear, we're just giving that money back on the county money and using it from the other pot?
Yes, the project's still moving forward.
Project's still moving
It's
forward.
just a different pot of money.
Because the
Yeah.
timelines didn't work out?
Yeah, and the pot of money, we actually, we didn't meet all of their requirements. That's not to say it's not moving forward, but they wanted everything in by a certain date. If we use the town's funds, which Jody calls treasury funds, we have a less strict deadline.
Yeah,
than that one.
so that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
and we're on track, I'm sorry, one more question. We're on track to use every penny from the county and from the treasury funds.
You know,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, as you should be. Good.
And so these, noting that, the design of the bridge rehab and some of these other ones are either complete or nearing completion, and so that's why we can,
Complete, nearing completion, or the bid's been awarded, and we have until the end of 2026 to complete all these projects. The end of '24, we have to identify the project. So all of these projects are either complete or the bids have been awarded and they're underway.
and we're comfortable that we don't need that additional funding for that project.
There's some contingency,
Yeah,
like
okay.
for the bridge, he left
Yeah.
some contingency
Right.
left over there.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions? All right, Ben, I think we're ready for a motion then?
I'd make a motion to approve the return of unused ARPA County project balances totaling $263,541.03.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote of 500. All right, Jim, then the second part of this,
Yes, so the second vote is a request to vote to obligate the total remaining ARPA funds being held by Norfolk County totaling $1,142,140 towards the high school project for architect design and engineering services for the bidding phase for Tepe and Vertex.
okay. I'm going to open it to the board. Does anyone have any questions concerning these funds? No? All right. Ben?
I'd make a motion to obligate the remaining portion of ARPA funds held by Norfolk County, which totals $1,142,140, to be used to fund the Walpole High School architect, engineering, and design development to bidding phase with Tepe and Vertex.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 500. And then we have one last vote for the ARPA funds for the culvert.
So the last request is to vote to approve $720,000 for the ARPA treasury funds currently being held by the Walpole Finance Director for the construction of the culvert in Washington Street. And then after, if you take this vote, I'll give you a summary as to where we stand. with the
That's
remaining
great, thanks.
funds.
Anyone have any questions on this item? All right, Ben?
So I'd make a motion to appropriate $720,000 in ARPA treasury funds for the construction of the culvert at Washington Street.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 500. All right, where do we stand on
So
ARPA funds
where do
now?
we stand? So the town originally received just over $2.6 million directly from the treasury. We've committed $770, which is the remaining money for the design of the high school, $777 for the remaining design of the high school, less the culvert of $720. Then we had some professional services, which was Powers and Sullivan, I believe. That takes the total balance remaining of down to $1,134,916. Where did we get that money? A lot of it was the funds that you, back I think in the summer, identified for the pool rehab, but then we later pulled back in the fall. That was 620 or 640, 600,000 plus. And then, like some of these projects here, they've come in under budget, and so that money is going to be available. We'll likely bring that to the board. That's kind of part of the budget that we've had ongoing with the Finance Committee, School Committee, and your board as a funding, identified as a funding source for the high school project moving forward next fall. So that's where we're at. We still have a good chunk of change there. And if we wait until the fall, we're still okay because we'll have that money committed by the deadlines, much prior to, a few months prior to the deadlines. And that this will be the first monies that we spend out of that project before we dip into any other. It's going to be a lot of pots. It's probably going to be a record for Walpole as to how many different funding sources for one particular project that project will be.
So if June is the deadline that communities are supposed to kind of identify and have something ready to go for these ARPA funds, when do we think we'll find out if there's more funds available?
Look, when will we, Ally asked, when will we know when there's additional funding available from the county? They didn't give us a specific date on the Zoom call. they indicated they would like to have something towards the last half of 2024, and that's a broad date, but they didn't get into it. I asked the question, I was looking at Needham and Westwood, the two town administrators from there. I said, well, if the three of us come forward, there's $1 million left. Can we split it 3 ways if Brookline's not using it? And they all laughed, but they're looking at doing something fairly, depending on what portion of all the money you got, and they're coming up with a formula, but I want to put us in the best position to try to go forward and get any additional funding as may be possible.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments on ARPA funds? All right, well, it looks like we're in a good
Keep you
position.
updated, yeah.
All right, moving on. I think we can go to our consent. Well, we can go to open forum. We kind of went a roundabout, but is anyone here for open forum this evening? Does not appear so. So this evening, we do not have anyone here for open forum. So Ben, do you want to go to consent agenda items then?
I'd make a motion to approve the consent items as listed on the January 23rd agenda.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have a vote, 5-0-0, and then we have minutes from January 9th.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of January 9th, 2024, as presented.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have a vote, 5-0-0. Jim, do we have any
Yeah.
other information from you?
Just 2 more items. Budget message was published today. It's out on our website. I've distributed to the Finance Committee and your board, members of the school committee, and the budgets will be available for pickup for Finance Committee and other town officials by the end of this week. Stephanie's doing a great job putting it together in our office. FinCom's set to start meeting on February 5th, their first meetings with the school department to review their budget requests. One last item is the Johnson Middle School update. Briefly, Mike Fisher and I have been working with Tech and BICO on these agreements. We're putting the finishing touches on them, working out insurance limits and everything at this point. We're down to like the real details, but we have some good agreements in place with both Tech and BICO. I expect that we'll have something for the select board and school committee to sign in February or at the latest in March. So we're making really good progress there, and everybody's sticking to what they agreed to as financially, and it's just details we're working on.
All right.
So,
Do
more
you
to
have
come.
any questions for Jim?
I would just comment that I thought that the budget message was exceptionally well-written, Jim. It's always very good,
Yeah.
but really, really great job on it this year. Very comprehensive and yet easy to follow and all that. So great job, and good job to you and the whole team. Really
Thank you.
well done.
All right. There are no other items this evening.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for joining this evening.